Gather close, dear listeners, for tonight's tale is veiled in the mist of a forgotten age, a story of a race even the oldest myth scarcely understood, their origins a mystery, their purpose a riddle. Yet within these pages we shall learn some of the truths that remain hidden. Now, let us begin. Long ago, in the embrace of the forest, cradling the elder tree, fairies and elves dwelled in harmony. Most of them guarded the elder tree, for its roots weaved life into the soil, and its branches cradled the sky. But deep within the heart of the forest lurked others, spirits who cared not for the elder tree. These beings slumbered like ancient stones, drawing sustenance from the earth itself, similar to that of plants, and not from the tree's crown fruit. Few knew of them, for they rarely stirred, yet this much is whispered. Their form you wonder? In a dormant state they take on the appearance of armor, rusted and cloaked in moss and veins, that of plates, gauntlets, bows, and there are those that take on the form of weapons, blades, spears, and shields. They mimic relics of a forgotten war, rusted and left to rot. In their primal forms they are genderless. Only when they awaken they borrow a creature's guise and adopt its gender. Some say they draw inspiration from prisoners trapped within the elder tree's barks, while others claim they mirror the strongest soul they encounter. Their telltale mark, a metallic shell, unyielding, while their borrowed forms shimmer like mirages. Our tale centers on one such spirit, a wanderer who took the shape of the great traveler, a being known for his undying love for adventure. For centuries he roamed the world's edges, observing cities from afar, never engaging, until fate led him to a trembling child in the forest of the lost. "Why linger here, little one?" he asked, his voice echoing like wind through hollowed steel. The girl, ragged and frail, whispered, "My parents left me days ago." Her stomach growled, tears pooled in her eyes. "Why?" The spirit vanished, returning with berries and fish. "I know not why you are forsaken, child," he said, offering the food. "For my kin knows no parents, nor what you might call familiar love. But know this, little one, fate has offered you a chance. You can either wither here or survive. The choice is yours." "How?" she sniffled. His eyes glinted. "Journey with me, for my form draws too much gaze in your cities and settlements. So I'll make you a deal. Travel with me, help me enter and explore those places, and once we reach the end of our journey, I shall grant you one wish." "Can my wish be anything?" she asked. "Anything within my power. I cannot warp time, nor reshape mountains, but all else is yours. Does that answer your concerns?" For a moment she hesitated, but then nodded in affirmation. "Then swear the oath," he intoned. "Repeat, 'I vow with all my heart that I shall uphold my end of the oath, and betrayal shall reap sorrow, so say I.' Now state your name, child." "So say I, Liliana." "And thus do I, as the spirit of curiosity and freedom, partake in this oath." Liliana frowned. "Why didn't you say your name?" "I have no name, child. We spirits need no bounds. A name serves us no value, as it only serves as a tether." "Then what shall I call you?" "That choice is yours." In a flash she shrank to a worn-out pendant and chain. Liliana gasped, "Where's your body?" "The see-through parts are but a guise for travel," his voice echoed in the pendant. "My true form is the armor, which I may reshape freely. And this form which you hold is what I shall take once we reach our destination. Now, onward." Through wild lands the spirit donned his armored form, a towering silhouette of steel and moss, to shield Liliana from storms and beasts. In cities he became a pendant, silent but ever watchful. Their first stop, the central city, Flame, a city of chivalry and knighthood. The pair marveled at the grand city, its streets paved with the finest marble, and adorned with trees in hues of green, pink, violet, and crimson. Stalls overflowed with spiced meat and honeyed fruits, their scents weaving through the air like ribbons of temptation. As they wandered through the bustling market, the spirit's voice suddenly echoed, as Liliana's stomach let out a faint growl. "Hungry?" he said. Startled, she glanced around. "Hey, why are you talking? You said if people found out you're here, it's a bad thing. Isn't that why you never talked in the villages we visited before?" The spirit laughed, the sound like rustling leaves. "Apologies. I forgot to mention I have an ability that people call telekinesis." "What does that even mean?" she said, confused. "Let's just say I can speak to you in your head, similar to how you speak to yourself. But fret not, I do not eavesdrop on your thoughts." "Okay, oh, okay," she replied, confused, only half reassured. "But those skewers smell amazing," said the spirit, as he tried to change the subject. "Why don't you eat one?" he urged. "We don't have money," she said, as her eyes were fixed on the skewers. "Reach into your pocket, child." As she followed the spirit's suggestion, her fingers brushed a cold, metallic object. As she took it out, it was a silver coin, enough for two skewers. She handed the coin to the vendor, who passed her one chicken and one meat skewer, both laden with roasted vegetables. "Where did the money come from?" she asked between bites, as juice dripped down her chin. The spirit chuckled again. "Another trick, for you see, surprises are half the fun, are they not? Do you have any more powers you're hiding?" "Maybe, but discovering them as we journey is far more amusing, don't you think, child?" "No, it's not fun," she snapped aloud, drawing stairs. Her face flushed crimson as she yanked her hood over her head. "And stop calling me child. My name is Liliana." "My apologies, Lillian," he teased, emphasizing the nickname. "It's Lily if you want to call me by a nickname." "Very well, Lillian. But new nicknames forged from adventures are more endearing than the old was, are they not?" She groaned. Ugh. "Just tell me your powers up front next time. Where's the joy in that?" As they wandered throughout the streets, they saw many preparing stalls for food and games. Curious, they asked one man that was setting up a stall. The man looked and said, "You must be from around here, kid. During this time of year we hold a festival known as the Festival of Ambers. You're lucky to be visiting the city here. The festival is our pride and joy." Thus they lingered for the Festival of Ambers, a riot of games, plays, and fireworks erupted as twilight took root. The spirit urged her to stay and engage in one of the activities, and Liliana chose to watch a play recounting the city's founding. A hero from ancient times journeyed from a forgotten city to slay the demon king. After the battle ended, he rallied the survivors from the tragic war to build this marvelous city, to welcome all those that lost their birthplace due to battle. Moments later, the spirit suggested that she should buy snacks to enjoy the performance. She nodded, purchasing sweets shaped like flames and sandwiches called Rising Flame. Returning to her seat in the middle row, she munched as actor dramatized the city's rise from ashes. Dusk fell. Explosions of gold and crimson lit the sky. Beautiful, Liliana breathed. Indeed, but I suggest you should rest now, the spirit urged as he noticed Liliana's tired demeanor, guiding her to an inn that he noticed during their meander. They entered an inn called the Embers Embrace and booked a small room with one bed at the end of the second floor. As they entered the room, Liliana instantly slept as she laid on top of the bed. While she slept, the spirit shrank into a small form and slipped through the window to wander around the city. As he ambled through the main street, he noticed an alley shadowed by the towering buildings near it. What he found as he entered could be considered nothing less than horrors. Adults and children alike tattered and blemished. As he roamed deeper, he witnessed an orphanage's cruelty, caregivers treating the bruised and starved children like livestock, rewarding only those who have produced results, while others were dragged away, traded to hooded figures who hissed of an auction. How could such cruelty thrive here, he wondered, grappling with humanity's duality. Is comfort built on ignoring suffering? Do mortals grow by turning a blind eye? As dawn broke, he returned to the inn. Liliana stared as sunlight split through the window. At dawn, Liliana yawned, stretching her arms toward the pale pink sky. Did you sleep? She asked the spirit. No, Lilian, my kin, we do not need sleep. The spirit replied, his voice carrying the hollow resonance of wind through the pendant. When we tire and seek rest, we return to the tree that birthed us, our consciousness dissolving until wanderlust calls anew. Liliana replied, Oh, okay. When she finished preparing herself, they left the central city flame, its marble spires shrinking behind them as they entered a dense forest. The spirit's form rippled, the small pendant morphed into steel plates that melted into feathers, until he stood as a towering figure, a creature with blade-like wings and eyes like thunder clouds. Liliana climbed onto his back, fingers tangling in his plumage. As they soared above the canopy, she shouted over the rushing wind, Why not a dragon? You know dragons are the strongest, right? The spirit banged gently, his voice echoing in the clouds. Yes, dragons do reign supreme, but my kin can only take forms we've witnessed. I've never seen one before. Then where'd you see this? She asked, patting his feathered neck. Deep within the forest, near the colossal tree, its trunk wider than the central city flame, and branches crawling at the heavens. This bird nested on that giant tree, its razor-edged wings crackling with latent lightning. The creature's piercing cry split the air, a primal horn that hurled tempest long before clouds gathered. The spirit murmured, soaring alongside Liliana on his storm-forged wings. Storm birds, that is the name of this marvelous creature. They sing the skies to fury. Liliana clung to his armored back, the world below them blurring into streaks of shadows as they climbed. Wow, cool, she breathed, her voice swallowed by the wind. A distant rumble answered, the first note of an approaching squall. He added, banking sharply to avoid a spiraling updraft. Few mortals glimpsed him, and fewer survived their storms. She grinned wild and bright. Then we're lucky you can transform into it after hours of flight. The city of hope and wisdom star emerged, a labyrinth of ivory. The spirit descendant, his avian form dissolving back into a pendant as Liliana's boots touched the soil. A city of hope and wisdom star rose before them like a jewel of intellect, its spires crowned with shimmering orbs of enchanted light. Scholars in flowing robes hurried through streets lined with bookstalls and alchemical shops, while children in crisp uniforms darted toward colossal marble structures adorned with carved crows, a symbol of wisdom for its ingenuity and ability to solve problems. What are those buildings? Liliana whispered, her eyes wide. The spirit's voice hummed in her mind. Schools, Lillian. Temples where mortals gathered to unravel the mysteries of the world, or so I believe. Before she could ask more, a boy with hair like tangled moss and eyes green as a forest shadow barreled into her. Hey, why are you blocking the road? He snapped, then froze, cheeks flushing crimson as he looked at Liliana. Sorry, he thrust out a hand. I'm Frederick. I'm Frederick. Liliana scowled, brushing dirt from her cloak. You should watch where you're going, Frederick. He scratched his neck. Hey, which school do you go to? Liliana's tone softened. School? I don't go to school. I'm from a village far away. If you have nothing better to do, come to my school. It's fun. It'll be way better than standing here. Go, the spirit urged. Knowledge is a weapon sharper than any blade. Reluctantly, she followed Frederick into a grand structure, its marvelous hall filled with many magical devices, statues, and rooms. They entered one of these rooms, where a woman with hair black as midnight and eyes like smoldering embers stood at a board. Good morning, Frederick, said the woman, her voice warm yet firm. Who's your companion? This is Liliana. She's from a village with no school. I told her to come and see what school all about. Miss Bloom knelt, her crimson gaze softening. Welcome, Liliana. Would you tell us about yourself? Liliana's throat tightened. I'm from a village near the grand port city of Aqua. My village doesn't have a name. Her fingers twisted the pendant. My family? At the mention of these words, her face turned grim as the spark from her eyes vanished. Miss Bloom placed a gentle hand on her shoulder. You may sit by Frederick. Introductions can wait. The lesson unfolded. A dance of numbers and tales of creatures Liliana had never even glimpsed on her journey with the spirit. The sudden sound of a bell ringing could be heard, signaling the start of recess. Liliana, confused, asked what's that. Miss Bloom answered, It's a time where children spend it playing with one another. Thus they exited. Children swarmed her, bombarding her with a barrage of questions. Do you have magic? One asked. Why is your cloak dirty? Said another. Why don't you have a bag? Another was curious. Liliana froze. Unsure what to do, she clenched the pendant tightly. Just as the spirit was about to take action, Frederick shoved between the crowd of curious classmates, shouting, Back off! Can't you see she's scared? A girl with hair like wildfire and eyes as blue as the ocean stepped forward. I'm Rosie, she said, grinning as she ignored Frederick's glare. You're pretty. Let's be friends. Liliana blinked, startled by the boldness. Rosie looked an arm through hers. Come, let's play together. No fair, Frederick protested, his cheeks flushing. I found her first. Right, Liliana? Liliana laughed, the sound light and unexpected. Okay, let's be friends, Rosie. Rosie, thrilled, stuck out her tongue at Frederick, and the bell rang, cutting short their squabble as the class hurried inside. By the day's end, a thought lingered within the spirit, watching as the children flocked to Liliana once more. Is this joy also built on suffering? He wondered, recalling the central city flame. Rosie and Frederick lingered as the others left. What do you want to do? Rosie asked, tilting her head. I'm going to stay here. I have many questions for Miss Bloom, Liliana said, clutching her pendant. Frederick scuffed his shoe. Will we see you tomorrow? Maybe. It's a secret, she replied, a playful glint in her eye. Come on, Liliana, just say yes. Rosie elbowed him. When a lady says secret, a man shouldn't pester her. That's why you'll never get married, Frederick. Frederick's face turned crimson. Shut up, Rosie. Laughing, Rosie stuck out her tongue again and waved. Farewell, Liliana. Frederick muttered a grudging bye before trailing her out. Alone now, Liliana smiled softly. Friends. The word felt foreign, fragile, and yet warm as sunlight. The classroom emptied, leaving Liliana alone with Miss Bloom. Sunlight streamed through stained glass windows, casting kaleidoscopic patterns over the desk. The teacher's crimson eye softened as she gestured for Liliana to sit. Ask freely, child. What weighs on your mind? Liliana's questions tumbled out like stones from a broken dam. How do stars stay in the sky? Why do some animals hibernate? Can magic heal a broken heart? Miss Bloom answered each question patiently, her voice steady as a river, smoothing rough edges. When the hour grew late, she hesitated, then extended an offer. Liliana, if you're nowhere to go, my home is open. My husband and I would cherish your company. The girl's finger tightened around the pendant. I can't, she whispered, her voice fraying, but thank you. Miss Bloom pressed a folded note into her palm. Should you ever change your heart, directions are here. You're always welcome in my classroom too. Liliana fled, Miss Bloom's note crumbling in her pocket like a brittle autumn leaf, its fragile edges dissolving with every frantic step. As they exited the school, Liliana, unlike her usual self, marched directly to an inn, secured a room, and by nightfall, as shadows pulled in the dimly lit chamber, the spirit voice cut through the silence. Why did you refuse her offer? She burrowed deeper into the scratchy blanket. I was scared. Why? He asked. I don't know. I just what? Can you please drop it? Said Liliana, with a faint hint of anger. After a short pause, very well, Lilian, let's rest. Good night, Lilian. Sweet dreams, the spirit said, though he knew she wouldn't answer, for she had fallen asleep. When her breath steadied, he slipped out, dissolving into the moonlit streets. The city's back alleys unfolded, a stark contrast to the central city flames wrought. Here, no orphanages reeked of despair, no auctions traded flesh. Instead, he found an auction house peddling cursed relics, swords that whispered madness, mirrors that trapped souls, but no people. The orphanages, tucked in tidy districts, hummed with laughter, children tucked into warm beds by caregivers who sang lullabies. Duality, he mused, perching on a rooftop, Some mortals feast on their king's suffering, others shield them, a fragile balance. Yet which one truly prevails? He returned at dawn. The question still lingered deep within the crevices of his mind. He saw Liliana still asleep. He let out a faint smile, after which his voice cut through the silence. Liliana, our journey ends here. Speak your heart's desire. She bolted upright, blanket pulling at her waist. Wait, what? What do you mean? It's as you've heard. We have reached the end of our journey. Now, Lily, speak your heart's desire. Wait, what do you mean? We still haven't gone to the last 8 cities. The Port City Aqua, or Masquerade, the city of never-ending theater, or Eternal City of Light Day, or City of Steel and Anvil's Blade, or City of Eternal Night Shadow, or Frost, the hidden city of mountains, or Blossom, the city of spring and prosperity, or the city of freedom and wisdom, hope. There's still so much to. Child, he interrupted gently, his form flickering like candlelight. I wandered these lands long before your first breath. I've seen all from afar. Now I shall honor our oath. Tears spilled down her cheeks. Please don't leave me. I'll tell you why I refused Miss Bloom. I was scared she'd abandon me too. I won't let you be alone, he said, voice softening. But our pact must be honored. She clenched a bit seed. I was scared that you would leave me too. But if that's not the case, then before my wish, can I give you a name? I want to give you a name. Very well, Lillian. That's the name that I want to give you, for that's what you gave me. The spirit's metallic shell shimmered, warmth bleeding into his tone. This name, I shall treasure it. Now, your wish. Trembling, she said, I don't know what you wish for. Close your eyes, child, and look deep within your heart. She closed her eyes, and after a few seconds uttered these few simple words. I wish to be happy. The spirit's body fractured, edges dissolving into golden dust that spiraled towards the stars. You lied, she screamed, clawing at the fading light. Hold out your hand, he whispered, the last shard of his being coiled into the pendant, his chain warm as a heartbeat. You'll never walk alone. Farewell, Lillian. In the distance, the sound of the birds' gentle tunes could be heard as Liliana clutched the pendant, its chains glinting softly in the morning light. A voice peered, breaking the gentle melody. Lily, we'll miss our lecture. It's time to wake up. Startled, Liliana woke up with a snort, her cheek imprinted with the pendant. Thanks for waking me, Rosie. Without you, I'd have missed the first lecture. No problem, Lily, Rosie said, then paused. Hey, why are you crying? Did you have a sad dream? Liliana touched her damp cheek, surprised. No, it was a lovely dream of the past, when I was a child exploring the world with a friend who gave me this pendant. And when I met you, she held up the pendant, smiling softly. Rosie grinned. Yeah, I'm glad too that we met. It's a good thing Miss Bloom helped you when you were unconscious in front of her house. You still don't remember how you got there, and why your hair changed from black into a mix of black and blue, and your eyes pink? Yes, said Liliana, with a faint giggle. Anyway, go fix yourself or we'll be late, said Rosie. Okay, okay, Liliana laughed, tightening her grip on the pendant. As she turned toward the window, sunlight spilled across her face. She whispered a single word, gentle as a sigh. Joy. Outside, Birds trilled, their song mingling with the distant chimes of the lecture hall. Deep within the elder tree's heartwood, the Great Spirit's voice rumbled, like distant thunder. Why fracture yourself, young spirit? Or would you rather I call you? Call me whatever you so desire, Great Spirit, said the spirit. Very well, but you still have not answered my question. Why did you do it? Why do it when you know perfectly well a spirit's powers wanes when divided, never to return to its once former glory? The spirit's essence pulled faintly, a flicker of light in the ancient bark. Her happiness. I did it for that. For you see, freedom is not the absence of chains, but the choice to wear them for another's sake. The great spirit let out a thunderous laugh. When did you start to speak like this, Joy? It doesn't suit your usual character. Silent, I see. Very well. Tell me, why did you leave the girl behind then? Pressed the Great Spirit, his tone both stern and sorrowful. My child, replied, with a faint hint of sadness, from what I have witnessed during my 1,000 years of travel, the cruelty of these creatures know no bound. How they are willing to devour their own kin for their survival. They care not for morals. But that is not the case for all. Which surprised me, if I'm being honest. There were some that truly cared and wanted to help those weaker than them. Thus I came to a conclusion that creatures like Liliana survive in a nurturing environment. Had she stayed with me, she wouldn't have been able to experience the love of a family, nor the joy of friendship. For you know this truth very well, ancient one, how lonely is our existence, and at the end of it we must return to the elder tree. She would have perished once I returned to the tree, for none are welcome apart from us. Yes, the Great Spirit conceded, yet why gift her a part of yourself? No, you can never reclaim a perfect physical form. It would be quite dangerous for you to wander the lands once again. Why sacrifice your freedom? Why use your own metallic shell to make money for her to use for her own leisure? Tell me the truth that lies deep within your heart. Light dimmed, as if weighted by memory. I, I wanted to keep her safe and happy. That's all. A sigh resonated through the tree's roots. Very well. Sleep now, my child. Before I enter my slumber, may I ask for one final request? Very well, child. Speak, said the Great Spirit with a stern tone. Keep her safe, said softly as he recalled their last moments together. Very well. I shall ensure that she remains safe. Thank you, whispered, its essence fading into the elder tree's eternal embrace. Somewhere beyond the forest, Liliana's laughter could be heard, carried by the wind. Thus concludes our tale. We know not of the fate that has befalled her, no, of what shall befall the spirit, but maybe one day all shall be revealed by the book. Thus concludes our tale for now. If you enjoyed today's video, please leave a like, subscribe and comment down below. Until next time.